I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
Conversate with Us Radio presents the Man Listen Show. We are the blackest radio show on the internet. We bring you our opinion on topics that affect the black community in an effort to enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister that falls under the sound of our voice. We operate on the no hating frequency, so be prepared for us to keep it 100% real and 100% black all the time. Please follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Man Listen Show. You can subscribe to the show on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, basically anywhere you can find a podcast. Go to our website, www.manlistenshow.com. You can listen to our old episodes, download current episodes. There's plenty of ways to find us. Make sure you tell a friend about the blackest radio show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. I'm your host, Marv B. Let's bring the crew in. All right, y'all. So sad news. Harry Belafonte, world-renowned singer, civil rights activist, passed away today at 96 years old. He died. His family put out a report that he died of congestive heart failure. 96 good years on this earth. Definitely rest in peace, rest in power to Mr. Belafonte. I gotta like put some ignorance out there. I thought Harry Belafonte had been gone to glory. you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I thought he had been gone. So when the news flash came across that he had passed away, I was like, damn, for real, he was still alive? But he definitely, we talk often on this show about entertainers, our celebrities, athletes, and what we would want for them to do for the community. I think Harry Belafonte is the blueprint for that. He broke a lot of ground with his art, his music, and he stood beside Dr. King. He was influenced a lot by Paul Robeson. These are two world-renowned, well-known civil rights activists. He put his money behind a lot of things in the movement, the SNCC movement, the Freedom Rise. He, supported Dr. King and his family while, Dr. King was fighting for the movement. So he definitely has earned respect in his stripes as a civil rights and a political activist. Now, the question comes in, this is what we're going to talk about. Mr. Belafonte started off, he was married to a black woman, had 2 black children. And then, the first marriage to the black woman ended, and he remarried twice. His second wife, I think he was married to for 50 years. Then he married his third wife, and they were both Caucasian women. So the question is, does somebody's contributions to the civil rights movement, to the movement, is it somewhat invalidated by the choices they decide to make, or who they marry, or who they decide to sleep with?
I would say no, it's not invalidated by who they marry or who they decide to sleep with, but it is entirely invalidated by the ideologies that they hold. And for him to have told Eartha Kitt that there's nothing that a black woman can do for me, he's the epitome of the problem. Now, did he do great things?
Hold on. What problem is that?
The problem is black men who see white women as their means for success and elevated greatness.
Okay.
Who will crawl out of a black woman's bed because you still desire us, but you feel like we can't help you reach that next level. So, we're worthy to be used, but not necessary for your elevation in society as far as relationships and position go. Because we all know that marriage is a social construct that is designed to elevate in position, right? Maintain standards and social norms. So the rich, they was marrying cousins so that they could keep their money in the same family, for the same reason that people are coming around trying to marry into wealth, or marry into privilege is because they know that that can extend their power or their reach as far as they're trying to go politically, socially, economically. And so when you say, "Hey, I have a social agenda. I have a plan for my life, a trajectory, and there's nothing that a black woman can do for me in that aspect." To me, you sold your soul long ago, and whatever your fate is, so be it.
I mean, but
I don't know.
okay, I hear you. I hear you.
Oh,
Lab,
you're king. You're king. Hate for interracial marriages. I'm astonished that you are not up in arms at this moment. I am literally astonished.
All
what you
right,
say?
King.
I'm king. Hate for interracial marriages. Let's change that. Let's change that. I am king pro black marriage. I am a strong proponent of. I'm an avid proponent that black men should be marrying black women. Now,
Okay.
if you want to marry something else, knock yourself out. But as for me and what I want to see and what I believe in is black men marrying, protecting, loving, cherishing black women. So that's what I'm about. That's what
Okay, so who is a man whose ideology was entirely against that? How do
I
you reconcile that?
I ain't give my opinion on it yet.
Okay,
I ain't give my opinion.
okay.
Man, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, so if you're talking about him specifically, that's one thing, but I think in general, no, I don't think it invalidates what they've done for the struggle at all. Now, to piggyback on or to kind of agree with Arika was saying, I think a lot of it goes to each specific person, each specific instance. If you hold particular views that are not just maybe you just happen to marry a white woman or other race woman, but if you hold views and espouse views that are entirely anti-black woman, that's something totally different. And so that's where there's a difference. But at the end of the day, if you're helping with the struggle, if you've helped progress black people's cause and you've donated money, it's hard to say it's invalidated. No one is perfect. We can't hold out for perfect people to lead the struggle, because you're never going to get someone that's a perfect person. We're all flawed to an extent. We all have different flaws. So you have to balance out the good and the bad, and it's your personal opinion whether you outweigh, because he holds these views, it outweighs the good he's done and vice versa. So
Yeah. See what you think.
So I don't think it necessarily dismisses everything he's done. It just kind of depends on what we're talking about first, because if we're just talking about like the civil rights movement, like you could be 100%, Caucasian or something else and fight for civil rights. Now, if you're fighting for like Black power and Black unity and like the Black family unit, then that's a totally different story. And as far as like, people make different choices, love, marry whoever you want to. But when, like Lab said, when you're anti something, like Arika stated, like he made that comment to Eartha Kitt, that's when I guess I have a problem, is when you're anti something and you're vocal about it. And he had 2 Black children. So I mean, it's just I don't get that at all. So if he made those comments knowing he had Black kids and then continued to marry 2 white women, then yeah, it's a problem.
And, that's my thing though. I don't know if Eartha Kitt, because we all saw it in a meme. I saw it on a meme. I didn't see the interview where I actually heard it come out of Eartha Kitt's mouth. I didn't read the book with the author who quoted Eartha Kitt. I saw a meme on social media, and I believe, unless one of y'all saw something different, that's where we all got the information from. Am I right or wrong?
When her autobiography first came out, I saw some people discussing it then.
Okay.
So this is a reiteration for me, but yes, the meme was a reiteration. But yes.
So I just want to put that out there, because often when people will put it in the meme and then you say, all right, this is fact. And then sometimes you can put your foot in the mouth just because you went off a meme that somebody put together. Now, if it's true that he did say that, that's some buster ass shit to say. This is my personal opinion. I am pro black woman. Y'all know that 100%. I don't think that you can call yourself pro black and not be pro black family. Now, you can be down for the cause, but I do think that that notion, that idea of pro black, meaning improving the black community, improving the black race, you're not doing that if you're not marrying someone who's black. That's my personal opinion. I don't think it invalidates Mr. Belafonte, because I think, you know, he put his money where his mouth is. There's plenty of us who like, nah, I'm gonna marry a black woman, and you know, this, that, and the other, and we all pro-black, but we don't put our money, we don't put our time, we don't put our life on the line for the movement. So it's I don't want to say hypocritical, but you really don't have solid ground to stand on to be too critical of Mr. Belafonte for, you know, the decisions he's made, because he's done what he's done. Now I know all of us on this show, we have put it on the line, right? We have donated our time, our resources to trying to improve, you know, enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister under the sound of our voice. But I just can't be mad at anybody who looks at Harry Belafonte with a side eye, you know, just like some people try to look at Frederick Douglass that way, because towards the end of his life, he married a white woman. But for you, Rika and C, as black women, if you say you involved in some sort of movement locally, and somebody's there, and he got a Becky on his arm, are y'all gonna turn away the help, or what you gonna do?
No, I mean, absolutely not. I don't have a issue with white women, white men. I don't at all. My thing is, I have an issue with people saying things like black women can't do anything for me. So what I got from that is that he had a white mom, and he basically had more of affiliation with that side of the family than he did with the other side of the family. That's pretty much what I got from it. I think that when people have two sides of the family, we naturally gravitate towards one side or the other side of the family. And maybe his Caucasian side of the family appealed to him. Maybe he just really liked green bean casserole. I don't know. But what I do know is that when you say black women can't do anything for you, but you're still engaging with them intimately, that you're on some sick slave master train that I can't ride with. Now, yes, he did great things. He gave his money, time, effort, energy.
I think his parents is black though, Ricky. He may be a light skin like y'all, but I think his parents.
Either way, some of them, they were some version.
They was Jamaican, like, you know.
Yeah,
I didn't think he was born in the U.S. because people always said he was Jamaican. Because like
I didn't think he was either.
I thought he was Haitian.
No, he's Jamaican. He's Jamaican.
Oh.
He's Jamaican, and I thought he was actually born in Jamaica, but I looked him up. It said he was born in New York. Now we know there's a lot of Jamaicans, a lot of Haitians, and a lot of people still represent where their parents came from, first generation, you know, whatever. They still represent. They don't really represent, you know, the U.S. They say I'm Jamaican or what have you. But I think he's full. I think he was full black. I believe he was. Like I said, he was just like, you know, lightly melanated like y'all.
I think I'm the darkest one here. So yeah.
Who is this y'all that you speak of, light skin Mark? But anyway,
you just ain't got a ring light on, bro. Because if you had your ring light on, everybody could see it's me. But go ahead.
Anyway,
I think his features looked a little off too. That's what I thought he was.
I'm entirely brown. I'm brown sugar. But anyways,
right.
The
no,
point
I wouldn't
is,
turn down. Oh, go ahead, Rika.
No, go ahead. That's the point. That we wasn't turned away.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily turn anybody away. Like, you know, I have like friends and family members who happen to be in, you know, situations like that or marriages like that, but they're down for the cause, and I know they definitely are down to ride. So I mean, I wouldn't turn anybody away. Like I said, choose what you want. It's just I have a problem when you're anti something and you're anti-vocal, especially when it's something who are, you know, against people that look like me. So I got a problem with that. But it's not like I'm not going to let you hang out. and help. I mean, sometimes we need all hands on deck when it comes to these people.
We absolutely
even white hands.
We absolutely need all hands.
Yo, don't worry, we're gonna get back to the good stuff. But before we do that, make sure you go to our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Man Listen Show. If you want to donate to the show, go to our Cash App, $ Man Listen Show. Now back to the good stuff.
And it would be incredibly difficult for me to say I'm not dealing with anybody who, like, you know, sleeps interracial or has interracial background or anything like that, because I got so many damn family members who is mixed, and hell, you know, I ain't 100% black. I mean,
right.
I know it's hard to believe with all this melanin, but you know, my grandparents definitely have some miscegenation in their blood. So it's a hard thing, but I understand the reason why I wanted to bring this up, because it's been often debated, and I think, you know, we talked about it in different situations, like with people who have been murdered or brutalized by the police. You remember the young guy out in East Texas? I think he was out in East Texas, and he was talking about how white folks was all good for him and his love for white people, and he was I'm addicted to white women. And, you know, he was saying all this shit, and then the police shot him and killed him.
Yeah.
And I think it's important, because I ain't gonna lie, if I was a black woman, I'd be like, go ahead and hold that, little dirty.
Right.
Go ahead and hold that. Just like that one, that African dude, he was dating that white girl. He was
In Florida. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
White girl
When they killed him?
the white girl was beating on him and killed him. And he was one of those dudes, like y'all talk about, who was trashing black women,
Yes,
putting white women on a pedestal. So then when this white girl killed him, his family was like, yo, we need to an outrage. We need to ride for our family member, because this white girl killed him. And everybody was like, nah, go ahead and hold that L, little dirty. We good. So, you know, that's why I want to bring this up, because some people may just be like, yo, man, if you ain't 100% down, you ain't down with us.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. I had literally just read an op-ed this week about a guy. I mean, he's not a famous person, but he wrote it about it, and it said, my white girlfriend called me the N-word in an argument. And and it still bothers me, you know, to this day. And I'm like, number one, you still with the girl? You know, in my head, I'm like, you still with the girl? But you know, that's an interesting situation, because I think a lot of us feel like that dynamic is always going to be there, no matter how long you're with the person. In a time of conflict, in a time of struggle, in a time of adversity, them lips gonna get a little loose, and things gonna come out that had never came out before. But that just means that they've always been there, to me.
You know, people often say, you know, remember Joe Rogan? We talked about Joe Rogan, and they said, well, Joe Rogan got a black daughter. He raised a black daughter. And I say this to everybody, you know, Massa had black kids too, but he was still Massa. So just because you sleep with another race, don't mean that you don't also have hate and contempt for that race as well. I know plenty of black men who went to Nam and they married a Vietnamese woman. And if you talk about Vietnamese people, they have so much hate and vitriol towards Vietnamese people, and you like, bro, but you married one. I know a lot of black men who marry white women and will talk about how much they hate white folks. Y'all may not know them, but I definitely do. And I just sit there and look at them like, bro, what you talking about, man? You've been married to this woman for years, so it just don't compute. So when people often say, well, you know, because I married a black man, you know, a lot of white women say that. Well, I'm married to a black man. That don't mean nothing. That don't mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's something that's always in my mind. If I was ever in that situation, I would always feel like that's something that it's always there. And even if they don't verbalize it themselves, their family or whatever, a lot of people in their family gonna have that same type of sentiment.
I'm gonna do like C's boy Joe Biden and say, "You don't marry a black woman, you're not black."
I know you're feeling the show, but picture your ad right here. If you want to advertise with us, hit up the link in our bio and we'll get you on the show.
Hey,
but
That is
speaking of
not my
Biden,
boy.
but
hold on, no.
speaking of
Okay.
Biden,
Yeah.
Biden went ahead and announced that he was running again. He was running for re-election. That was the quietest re-election announcement I've ever seen in my life. Is it just me?
No, he
Well,
did it
what
like 3 in the morning. It was like he
They
came
didn't
out-
have time to
3
type
in
the
the morning.
teleprompter.
Yeah, it was just like 3 in the morning. Like you really didn't like. They were talking more about little towns in Italy being populated by Americans than they were talking about Biden being reelected. It just seems awful strange to me. This whole scenario that the
Democrats are point shaving.
I don't know what's going
Man,
on.
it's he knows that a lot of the quote unquote base is not enthused by him, does not want him to run for re-election. And so, quite frankly, I think he feels obligated to do that. You know, like I don't know when the last time a sitting president chose not to run for re-election.
When's the last time they were 100?
You know, no, exactly. They haven't been that old. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think he kind of feels obligated to do it because he talked about finishing the job. And if you say you're not going to run, you got 2 years left, a little under 2 years, and you basically, for all intents, are a lame duck president.
I mean, but who they got that's going to run though?
They need to figure it out. Why aren't they figuring it out though? Why did they even let him say he was going to run again? When he read that teleprompter and then went to the end of the paragraph and then jumped back to the middle and read them sentences all over again, they knew right then they should have been planning something.
The one that got me was when that congresswoman, I think from Indiana, had passed away. And he was in her hometown doing a rally. He's like, "Where's Susie at?" or whatever her name was. "Where's Susie?" And they had to tell. And do you guys remember that?
I just see that.
No, I didn't know.
Oh man, she had died in like a car wreck. Yeah, it was like, yeah, it was sad. And I was like, man, this was last year sometime. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think. But here's the thing. So the mistake was made when Joe didn't run after against Trump the first time. When they let Hillary run instead of Joe Biden, that's when the mistake was made. Because if you think about it, he was coming right off Obama's presidency. It had just been a continuation of President Obama, and then this would actually be his second term. But he was going through tragedy. He had lost his son. He's been through a lot of tragedy in his life. You know, he lost, his first wife and children in a car accident. And I don't think he was just there mentally. He should have ran then. Hillary, on paper, was a great candidate, but she was never. And you knew that. She was super flawed. So Biden running for a second term now at his age, it just don't make a lot of sense. But the problem with us as Black people is that we are always held hostage by the craziness of the Republicans. We held hostage by it. You see how hard in the paint they're going at, women's rights, with abortion. You see how critical it is for the Supreme Court to make sure that we have somebody that's not going to put a nut job on the Supreme Court. So it's not like if Biden ends up being the candidate, who you going to vote for? You going to vote for DeSantis? That nutcase? You really going to have to vote for Biden. And the problem is we really are held hostage unless you're like, well, I'm just not going to vote for nobody. That's not smart either, because not voting is basically voting for the Republicans.
I know you're feeling the show, but picture your ad right here. If you want to advertise with us, hit up the link in our bio and we'll get you on the show.
So, and we need as many people in office to try to protect the Supreme Court, because the ones that got on it is corrupt as all get out, especially that sellout Clarence Thomas. You see all of them, all of them's having problems with their morals and their disclosures, financial disclosures, and everything else. So, and they're really untouchable. Yeah, they're untouchable. Congress tried to call in and say, "Hey, listen, we want to talk to y'all." They basically said, like, "Yo, These are the rules we abide by. F off.
Yeah.
So what we gonna do? I'll be willing to entertain the option, but what you gonna do if Biden runs and let's just say Trump runs? If he runs against Trump, I think he'll beat Trump. There's two old ass white men that don't nobody really like. Well, people like Trump. They don't like Biden.
Right.
Biden could beat Trump. He can't beat DeSantis.
I don't know. I think when it comes to the general election, Trump has ingrained. He has an ingrained fan base or base of supporters nationwide. DeSantis, the stuff he's trying to do or doing in Florida, that's not going to play to a lot of people that are maybe on the fence. That could possibly go either way. I don't think, when it comes to the abortion ban and the don't say gay bill, that kind of stuff. I think that it's gonna be there's a lot of people who would not vote for him because of that nationwide.
Man, the only thing I'll say about that is we knew how much of an idiot Trump was. We knew how dangerous Trump was. And we thought that nobody reasonable would put this dude in office. And they did that. And I think that the problem that they have, well, not the problem, the difference between Democrats and Republicans is Republicans will hold their nose and swallow the medicine because they know for the greater good, they'll benefit. Democrats will stand on principle and be like, nah, we can't do that because that's not right. Republicans be like, I don't give a damn. Yeah, he's crazy. And he's going to do a lot of shit that's probably, not right. But as long as these things are kept into place to protect our whiteness, we'll deal with it. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Yeah, but the Republicans are. Oh, go ahead. Let the Republicans.
No, go ahead, Laugh. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say
the Republicans talk.
Yeah. What I'm saying is the Republicans as a whole, just like the Democrats, they're probably about even. I'm talking about the swing voters, the people who have voted for Barack Obama, but then also voted for Ron DeSantis, or in Florida, or the people that voted for Barack Obama but who didn't feel comfortable voting for Hillary. Those are the people I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the Republicans holding their nose and voting. I'm talking about the people who sway from election to election. There's more people that are like that than you think.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I was going to say too. I actually think that Biden has a better chance of beating DeSantis than he does Trump. And then as far as the Trump and the Hillary thing, so you got to remember, like, this country is extremely, extremely racist, and it has been for decades. But also at the same time, just think about how it treats its women. When they first allowed Black men to vote, white women still couldn't vote at that time. So I just don't think the country was going to put Hillary up there no matter who it was. They just weren't ready for a woman at that time. It was, they were still going against and battling the Me Too movement and thinking women were against all men. And it was just too much at the wrong time. And so that's why I really think that Trump won. I think if he was running against Biden, like you said at that time, I don't think he would have won.
Biden would have mollywhopped him, for sure. For sure.
Probably so. Not now, but back then he would have.
You think Trump would beat Biden if they ran against each other again?
Right now? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just don't think the Republicans are going to let Trump run. I think that's a part of the reason they're, arresting him and trying to charge all these, or file all these charges. I just don't think they really want him to run. I think they allowed him to run just because they needed the momentum, because they finally had somebody that, everybody's excited about, because they just came off of 2 terms with Obama. But I think he got in there and he just started going so rogue and not listening to people and going off the script. I just don't think they want to do that anymore.
Yeah, I think maybe the downstream votes, the damage that Trump did downstream, that may be a reason. But I don't know, y'all. I think that dude DeSantis is dangerous, for real. Because like I said, he's young enough, and y'all underestimate the crazy of a lot of white folks. There's definitely white Republicans. I'm telling you.
Right, but
y'all act like it was that long ago when we were sitting there, and then everybody was all hyped. They was like, wait a minute, she's the most qualified candidate ever to run for president. And then as you started seeing those preliminary numbers come in, at first it was like the South. We was like, all right, but those are all the I hate black folks states. They're gonna vote for Trump. Then when you started seeing the other states come in, and then like those swing states voting for Trump, Y'all act like y'all want to be like, God damn, they really did this. And you know they could do that for DeSantis too, man. I think Biden would mollywop Trump.
They
I
can,
think
but
Trump-
DeSantis is not running against a woman.
DeSantis will probably give him like the business because he's young. He's a young candidate.
I think the thing with Trump though is that part of his appeal to a large segment is that they, for some reason, and to a lot of people, the American dream is to espouse to be as rich as you can and to say "F you" to the establishment.
And he wasn't a politician.
Yeah, he wasn't a politician. Whereas since DeSantis was groomed, he came up through the ranks and everything like that. So there are certain, he doesn't have that crossover appeal. I'm not going to call it crossover appeal. He doesn't have that appeal to a large population of the same people that Trump does. There's people that get Trump's fake or inflated wealth as, the standard. And it's not just with Trump. I mean, you see it with all kind of people here in the States. We use wealth and we automatically think that person is a genius or that person is smarter than everybody else just because they have attained monetary thing, and I don't want to bring him into it, but it's kind of like the same way with this idiot Elon Musk. People act like he's the smartest man on the planet.
Right. He was born into money. Born into stolen money.
I think he's lucky and he looks special needs. I think he got like Asperger's or something like that.
He says he does. He admits that he does.
So he ain't nothing to look.
And Trump also had I'm not even gonna say like a crossover fan base, but he had like those idiots because everybody was name dropping them in rap albums in the 80s and the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say
2000s. I mean,
I'm gonna say if there's anybody that can effectively stop DeSantis, it's Trump. I don't know if y'all remember it. To me, it was funny. I couldn't laugh and I couldn't talk about it on like social media because like I didn't want to like seem like I was endorsing him. But remember when they had like 18 Republican candidates running at one time and they was having debates and one by one, Trump was knocking their ass off. When he was going after Jeb Bush, he went after Jeb Bush. Next thing you know, Jeb Bush was like, nah, I ain't running no more. Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, he was clowning them. I mean, like that shit was hilarious to me. And like he could do the same to DeSantis, but I don't know. But basically, at the end of the day, see his boy Biden running again. And
it's not my boy. Not.
And I think we're in trouble, but we're gonna see. But anyway, I think we talked about it enough. Rest in peace, Mr. Harry Belafonte. Make sure y'all follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Man Listen Show. Subscribe to the show on YouTube. Go to our website. Go to the link in our bio on Instagram and buy some of our merchandise. We need the money. So go buy you a t-shirt or a hoodie or something. And we'll holler at you next time. Peace.